There is a power within you, silent, invisible, but stronger than any obstacle in your path. It is the power of your mind. When I wrote Think and Grow Rich, I wasn't simply speaking of money. I was speaking of something greater, the riches of the mind. Because wealth, success, and opportunity begin not in the world, but in thought. Every achievement known to man began as an idea, a seed of belief planted in the soil of persistence. But most people never plant that seed. They wait for perfect conditions, never realizing that belief itself creates those conditions. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. These are not just words, they are law. If you think in terms of failure, defeat, or limitation, then you attract those very things. But if you think in faith, purpose, and action, you become unstoppable. Look around you. Every invention, every monument, every empire began with thought. But thought alone is not enough. It must be mixed with faith, an unshakable conviction that you are destined to succeed. Faith is the starting point of all miracles. It transforms ideas into reality. It turns the invisible into the visible. So I ask you, what do you believe about yourself? If you believe you can, the universe aligns itself in your favor. If you doubt, then every step feels heavy. Your life will always follow the direction of your dominant thoughts. You cannot escape your mindset. You can only master it. If you truly desire success, see it, feel it, live it, long before it arrives. Act as though your dream were already real, and soon it will be. Remember this, failure cannot exist in the mind of one who refuses to accept it. Success is not luck, it's a decision. And that decision begins with belief. There is one force that separates those who live with purpose from those who drift through life. It is not talent, education, or luck. It is mindset. When I studied the world's most successful people, I discovered that every one of them had mastered one universal truth, that thoughts become things. Every idea, invention, and breakthrough began first in the mind. Before the skyscraper was built, before the fortune was earned, before the empire was created, it existed as a vision. If you wish to change your life, begin with your thoughts, because the world outside you is simply a reflection of what's happening inside. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. That statement holds more power than most realize. It means that everything you desire is already waiting for you, once you truly believe it's possible. The greatest weakness of mankind is the habit of giving up when success is near. The difference between those who win and those who surrender lies in one word: persistence. I've seen people fail not because they lacked opportunity, but because they lacked faith. Faith in themselves, faith in their vision, faith in the unseen. You cannot wait for proof before you believe. You must believe first, and proof will follow. Every time you doubt yourself, you weaken your potential. Every time you act in faith, you multiply it. People speak of success as though it were luck, but success is the result of a burning desire mixed with unwavering belief. When you think success, when you visualize it, feel it, and act as though it were already yours, the universe rearranges itself to deliver it to you. There is no secret beyond this. Your thoughts are seeds. Your belief is the water. Your action is the sunlight. You cannot plant seeds of doubt and expect a harvest of confidence. You cannot speak of failure and expect triumph. So train your mind to think only of what you desire, not what you fear. Fear is the destroyer of dreams. Faith is the builder of empires. I have seen men with no money, no resources, no advantage, rise to greatness simply because they refuse to let go of a vision. That is the true power of mindset. You become what you think about, and you attract what you believe you deserve, and you live the life your thoughts create. Every morning, remind yourself, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Because your mind, not the world, determines your destiny. The most powerful weapon you will ever possess is not in your hands. It is in your mind. Everything you will ever become, every victory you will ever win, begins with a single thought. When I spent years studying the world's greatest achievers, industrialists, inventors, entrepreneurs, I discovered one truth that echoed through every story. Success begins first in the mind, long before it becomes visible in the world. You see, the difference between those who live extraordinary lives and those who settle for mediocrity isn't circumstance, it's belief. Your mind is the workshop of creation. The images, ideas, and emotions you allow to dwell there will eventually appear in your life. If you think defeat, you invite defeat. If you think victory, you create the conditions for victory. The law of life is simple. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. That is not a poetic phrase. It is the foundation of every success story that has ever existed. Think about it. Every invention, every empire, every great accomplishment began as a seed of belief in someone's mind. The Wright brothers believed man could fly when the whole world laughed. Edison believed he could capture light from darkness. They did not wait for evidence. They believed first, and the evidence followed. Most people wait for proof before they dare to believe. But that is not how the universe works. Belief is the cause. Proof is the effect. Your thoughts are the architects of your destiny. The moment you decide to believe in something with all your heart, you begin to attract people, circumstances, and opportunities that make it real. The greatest enemy you will ever face is doubt. Doubt has destroyed more dreams than failure ever could. Failure is not permanent. It is merely a signal to adjust your course. But doubt kills before you even begin. So I ask you, what are you feeding your mind? Are you nurturing visions of success or watering weeds of fear? When you wake up in the morning, declare, I am the master of my mind. I will think only thoughts that serve me. Because your outer world is nothing more than a mirror reflecting your inner state. Change your mind and your world will follow. Faith, persistence, and desire, these three are the golden keys. Faith gives you strength, persistence keeps you moving, and desire fuels the fire when the night seems endless. Success is not a secret, it's a mindset, one that refuses to quit, one that believes when no one else does, one that turns vision into reality through relentless faith and action. Remember, riches, peace, happiness, love, freedom, all are born from the same place, the mind that dares to believe it deserves them. And so begin there. Build the inner world first, and the outer one will rise to match it.
The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Long before the world knew of wealth or power, I discovered the greatest treasure of all, the mastery of the mind. Human suffering is born from attachment, from clinging to what we want and resisting what is. But peace, clarity, and happiness arise when we learn to see our thoughts not as truth, but as passing clouds in an open sky. The world you see is not the world itself. It is a reflection of your own mind. Change your perception and you change your reality. You say, I am angry, but anger is not you. It is a visitor. You say, I am afraid, but fear is not you. It is a shadow. When you learn to observe your thoughts without judgment, they lose their power over you. Mindfulness is the path to freedom. It is not about escaping the world. It is about awakening within it. If your mind is full of chaos, your life will mirror that chaos. If your mind is calm and centered, the world becomes peaceful. You need not chase happiness. It arises naturally when the mind is still. You need not fight failure. It fades when you see it without fear. In every moment, you have a choice: to react or to respond, to cling or to release, to hate or to love. And in that choice lies your power. So, train your mind like a garden. Pull out the weeds of doubt. Water the seeds of compassion, gratitude, and clarity. Soon, the garden of your life will bloom. You have always had the power. You simply forgot where to look, within. The mind is the source of all experience. When the mind is pure, joy follows like a shadow that never leaves. Human beings suffer not because of what happens to them, but because of how they interpret what happens. The same event can bring despair to one person and wisdom to another. The difference lies only in the mind. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. Your life is shaped not by circumstance, but by perception. If you fill your mind with anger, resentment, and fear, you will live in a world that mirrors those thoughts. But if you cultivate compassion, clarity, and peace, then every day becomes an opportunity to grow. When I sat under the Bodhi tree, I sought not to change the world, but to understand it. I realized that peace cannot be found outside. It can only be realized within. When you learn to observe your thoughts, you begin to see that they are not who you are. They arise, they fade, but your awareness remains untouched. You are not your anger, nor your sadness, nor your ambition. You are the awareness that witnesses them all. Let go of the illusion of control. Let go of the attachment to outcomes, for attachment breeds suffering, and surrender brings freedom. The world is filled with noise, desires, comparisons, distractions, but silence is where you meet truth. To master the mind is to master life. A calm mind brings clarity. A focused mind brings strength. A free mind brings happiness. If you wish to live without fear, stop clinging to what can be taken away. If you wish to know joy, stop chasing what cannot be kept. Happiness is not something you acquire. It is something you uncover. It has always been there, beneath the clutter of thought and illusion. Mindfulness is not an escape. It is an awakening. To be mindful is to see clearly, to live fully in this moment without judgment or resistance. Each breath is a teacher. Each moment is a chance to begin again. When you master your mind, you master your life. When you free your mind, the entire world changes. Remember, your mind is your greatest friend or your greatest enemy. Train it well, and it will lead you to enlightenment. Your mind is the source of your happiness and your suffering. When you master your mind, you master your life. We live in a world that constantly changes. Seasons shift, bodies age, relationships transform. Yet within you, there is a stillness that never moves. That stillness, awareness, is your true self. Most people spend their lives chasing what they believe will bring happiness, wealth, recognition, pleasure, security. But these things are fleeting. They rise and fall like waves on the ocean. Real peace cannot be found in what changes. It can only be found in what remains. The mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of fear, resentment, and greed, you will harvest suffering. But if you plant seeds of kindness, gratitude, and mindfulness, you will harvest peace. When you realize that your thoughts create your experience, you begin to take responsibility for every moment. You no longer blame others. You no longer seek outside for what must grow inside. Pain will visit you, yes, but suffering is optional. Pain is the touch of life. Suffering is the story you tell about it. When anger arises, see it. When fear comes, observe it. Do not fight your emotions, witness them. Because the act of seeing dissolves their power. Mindfulness is the practice of living awake. When you breathe consciously, walk consciously, speak consciously, you turn every moment into meditation. Each breath is a reminder that you are here, alive, capable of peace right now. The past is gone. The future has not yet come. There is only this moment, and in this moment, freedom exists. Happiness is not something to pursue. It is something to realize. It is already within you, hidden beneath layers of desire and attachment. Let go of the need to control, to possess, to prove. The more you cling, the more you suffer. The more you release, the lighter you become. Your beliefs shape your reality. If you believe you are broken, you will see the world through cracks. But if you believe you are whole, the world will reflect your wholeness. Do not look for peace in the noise of the world. Find it in the silence within. Train your mind, and your heart will follow. And when your mind is free, no prison can hold you. No loss can destroy you. No fear can rule you. For the enlightened mind is like the sun. Even when clouds appear, it still shines behind them.
People call me a genius, but they forget how many times I failed. 10,000 times. That's how often I tried to make the light bulb work. 10,000 failures. But I never called them failures. I called them lessons. Because every mistake brought me one step closer to success. And then the difference between those who quit and those who succeed isn't talent, it's mindset. Most people give up after one rejection, one disappointment, one hard day. But the ones who rise, they see failure as fuel. Persistence is the true mark of intelligence, because it takes wisdom to know that every setback contains the seed of a greater comeback. When people said I was wasting my time, I smiled. because I knew something they didn't. Success is simply the accumulation of small improvements over time. I didn't invent the light bulb by waiting for inspiration. I created it by refusing to stop trying.
You see, the mind has two choices when facing adversity. It can surrender or it can adapt.
The moment you decide that giving up is not an option, you've already succeeded.
I often said our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time.
That is the mindset that changes everything. If you can believe when no one else does, if you can persist when the world says stop, if you can see possibility where others see problems, then you are already on the path to greatness. Don't wait for conditions to be perfect. They never will be. Start now. Fail often. Learn quickly. Because every failure is a stepping stone to brilliance. Success belongs to those who think differently, who dare to persist, and who refuse to let defeat write their story. And when your light finally shines, the world will call it genius, but you will know it was mindset all along. People remember me for the light bulb, but what they forget is how many times I failed before it worked. 10,000 experiments, 10,000 ways that didn't work, but each one taught me something valuable. I didn't fail 10,000 times, I succeeded in finding 10,000 paths that didn't lead to the goal. That is the difference between the dreamers who quit and the dreamers who succeed. It's not brilliance, it's not luck, it's the mindset that refuses to stop trying. Most people see failure as the end. I see it as feedback, information that guides you toward a better attempt. Every great success story is written by those who were willing to endure what others wouldn't. You can't fear failure if you want to innovate. You must embrace it as part of the process, because every obstacle contains the key to the next breakthrough. When people told me something was impossible, I took it as a challenge. I knew that if I just kept moving forward, kept testing, kept learning, the answer would come. There's a simple truth I lived by. There is no substitute for persistence. Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Most people wait for motivation, but motivation doesn't come first. Action does. The moment you take action, your mind begins to create momentum. When you think about success, don't imagine a single victory. Think about the hundreds of small steps, the failures, the nights of doubt, the moments when giving up feels easier. That is where strength is born. Your mindset determines how far you go. If you believe failure is permanent, you'll stop at the first setback. But if you see it as a lesson, you'll grow stronger every time you fall. Persistence is not just continuing to try. It's believing that success is inevitable if you don't quit. I didn't like the world because I was lucky. I did it because I refused to accept defeat. Each failure whispered, "Try again," and I listened. If you have a dream, protect it. If you have a vision, pursue it. And if you face failure, welcome it. It means you're one step closer to your goal. Remember, opportunity often hides behind hard work and persistence. Your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your world. Train your mind to see possibility where others see problems.
You can create light from darkness, if only you believe it can be done.
People remember my inventions, but what they don't see is the struggle behind each one.
They don't see the failures, the setbacks, the ridicule.
Before the light bulb lit a single home, I failed over 10,000 times. 10,000. But I never called it failure. I called it education. Every experiment that didn't work brought me closer to the one that would. That's the mindset of a creator. You can't be afraid to fail. You have to see failure as part of success, not the opposite of it. Most people stop after the first few disappointments, but success belongs to those who keep going long after the world has stopped believing in them. When others see a dead end, I see another way to learn. When others complain, I observe. When others give up, I begin again.
You see, genius is not about being smarter. It's about being more determined.
Persistence turns ordinary people into inventors, leaders, and pioneers. I always said, there's a better way. Find it. That's what belief does. It refuses to accept that what exists is all there is. If you believe there's another path, you'll find it. If you believe you can improve something, you will. But if you believe you've already lost, then you have. Belief fuels effort. Effort fuels discovery. Discovery fuels success.
The human mind is capable of extraordinary things, but most people never test its limits. They stop when it gets hard. But that's the moment to push forward, because the hardest point is usually the turning point.
I want you to understand something. I didn't invent the light bulb because I wanted fame.
I did it because I refused to let darkness win.
And that's the same choice every person faces, every day. You can surrender to doubt and fear, or you can keep trying, keep improving, keep learning until you find your light. Your belief is the switch that turns on your potential. The moment you say, I can, you ignite the current of creativity and progress.
So when you fail, smile. You're learning.
When you're tired, remember why you started. When people tell you it's impossible, let their doubt become your fuel.
I never once believed I was done. I always believed I was one experiment away from success. And that belief, my friends, made all the difference.
Because the mind that refuses to quit will always find a way to rise.